My name is Diane Rohac. I'm a registered dietitian with Biobi Health, and this video will elaborate on the attached document called Carbohydrates. The Institute for Functional Medicine is one of the training programs Dr. Obayashi is completing, and this is one of their several macronutrient information sheets. Carbohydrates are the body's primary source of energy, and this video will explain how they fit into a cardiometabolic food plan for long-term health. Carbohydrates have, over the last few years, been subject to a bad reputation on the internet from various influencers and even from some healthcare professionals who lack in-depth education about nutrition. The truth is, carbohydrates are essential for feeding our brain, muscles, and organs. The key is focusing on the type and quality of carbohydrates we eat rather than cutting them out altogether. Carbohydrates come in many forms. On one end, we have nutrient-rich sources like fruits, starchy vegetables, legumes, and in smaller amounts, nuts and seeds. These foods provide not only carbohydrates, but also fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals, or plant compounds, that support heart health and metabolic function. On the other end, there are refined and processed carbohydrates such as candy, sugary beverages, pastries, and certain white breads. These digest rapidly, spike blood sugar, and offer very little nutritional value. When we are following a cardiometabolic food plan, the focus is on complex, fiber and nutrient-rich carbohydrates that stabilize our energy levels and support glycemic control. So how much carbohydrate do we actually need? Generally, and as per the cardiometabolic food plan, we recommend that carbohydrates make up approximately 45% of our total daily calories. For an average adult consuming about 1,800 to 2,200 calories per day, this is roughly 200 to 275 grams of carbohydrates per day. Of course, individual needs may vary depending on age, activity level, and overall health goals. On the cardiometabolic food plan, the goal is to choose carbohydrates that protect the heart, help maintain steady blood sugar, and support weight optimization. As you follow your cardiometabolic food plan, you may start by filling half your plate with non-starchy vegetables, then adding a serving of starchy vegetables. These are high in fiber, can help stabilize blood sugar, and keep you feeling full for longer. Most fruits are high in carbohydrates, yet are also an important source of many vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytonutrients. We encourage you to include them into your diet in limited amounts and consume them in their whole form rather than juiced. Dried fruits are recommended in very small amounts due to the concentration of sugars. The cardiometabolic food plan prioritizes whole grains, especially sprouted ones, which, due to the germination process, can be easier to digest and have higher nutrient bioavailability. The germination process breaks down some of the starches and proteins and neutralizes certain anti-nutrients, such as phytic acid, which can hinder the absorption of minerals like calcium, magnesium, iron, copper, and zinc, making the nutrients more accessible to the body while potentially reducing digestive discomfort. Sprouted grains also have been shown to have increased antioxidant activity and higher polyphenol and folate content when compared to unsprouted grains. They have the same nutrients as regular grains, but in different quantities. At Biobi Health, we recommend choosing whole grains as much as possible and substituting some whole grains for sprouted ones. When choosing a product made with refined grains, eating sourdough bread is a much healthier choice than a bagel. We can also now find a huge variety of non-wheat pastas, such as those made with chickpeas, buckwheat, quinoa, millet, amaranth, etc. These are a great choice to increase fiber intake and the variety of grains consumed. Legumes, such as dried beans, peas, and lentils, provide both complex carbohydrates and plant-based protein. They are rich in fiber and other vitamins and minerals like folate, potassium, iron, and magnesium. When incorporated into a meal plan, they help slow digestion, promote satiety, and reduce blood sugar spikes, as well as certain blood lipids, such as LDL cholesterol, known as bad or lousy cholesterol, and triglycerides. They can also help raise HDL cholesterol, known as good or happy cholesterol. Having canned legumes on hand is a practical way to easily add them into foods. Make sure to do some research about the lining of the can, as some brands still use bisphenol A or BPA in the lining of their cans. This synthetic chemical can leach into food and has been linked to hormonal disruption, metabolic disorders, and development disorders in infants and children. An easy and economic way to have legumes on hand is to purchase them dried, soak them, and cook them in a pressure cooker or Instapot. You may then make 1 3/4 cup portions equivalent to a 398-gram can, which is the typical amount used in recipes. These ready-to-use portions may then be frozen in glass containers or BPA-free freezer bags for future use. Lentils cook much faster than dried beans and peas and do not require soaking. Add them to soups and use cooked ones in salads. Dairy products like yogurt, cheese, and milk are good sources of both carbohydrates and protein, yet some individuals are not able to digest them effectively, and they are not necessary to include in a balanced diet. For those who choose to consume dairy, organic sources are preferred. Other carbohydrate-rich foods include those made with refined grains and sugars and include soft drinks, pastries, cookies, chips, French fries, candy, ice cream, some white breads, pastas, and other convenience foods. While it may be unrealistic to avoid these foods at all times, too many refined grains and sugars in our diet can promote chronic inflammation in the body, which can then contribute to a host of health conditions. At Biobi Health, we recommend that you obtain less than 10% of your daily calories from added sugars. Carbohydrates, when chosen wisely, are powerful allies in fueling our bodies and supporting cardiometabolic health. By focusing on high fiber, minimally processed sources and balancing them with proteins and healthy fats, we can keep energy levels steady, support heart health, and reduce the risk of developing diabetes. For those with specific health concerns such as diabetes, metabolic syndrome, or other, carbohydrate recommendations may be adjusted to roughly 20 to 40% of total daily calories, depending on the health condition. This may be discussed with Dr. Obayashi to learn what recommendation is best for you.